The Buffalo Bills have clinched their seventh straight playoff berth, which happens to be the longest active streak in the entire National Football League right now. And I know that this season hasn't always felt like a playoff team or like a playoff season should feel like. From the injuries to the inconsistencies on offense, the drama, all of that, it's made this year feel heavier than most of the years that we've been accustomed to as Bills fans. I get it. But here we are, Bills Mafia. Here we are. 7 years in a row. And that matters. It matters because it wasn't so long ago when this franchise went nearly 2 decades without even sniffing a playoff berth. It matters because this team rebuilt its identity from the ground up. It matters because consistency is the mark of a true contender, even in the years where everything isn't so perfect. So today on the Rated Rev Show, we're not brushing past this. I don't care what anybody says. We ain't brushing past this. We're not acting like this is normal, because it's not. Because for Buffalo, this used to be a dream. But now it's the standard. And if we're going to talk about 7 straight playoff appearances, we're going to talk about a standard, we've got to talk about the man who has helped build the foundation of all of this. We'll talk about that coming up shortly. Bills Mafia, what's going on? It's your man Rev, and you are tuned into the Rated Rev Show. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on those bell notifications so that way you can stay up to date with everything related to the Buffalo Bills and your man Rated Rev. This is the Rated Rev Show. The Buffalo Bills have made it to 7 consecutive playoffs, and we cannot talk about the Buffalo Bills' success without talking about one man, not the only man, but one main man who has helped build this foundation for where we are right now as a franchise, as an organization, as a fan base. That man, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than head coach Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott. I understand the conversations. I've been a part of them all. Bills Mafia, we have been loud. We've been emotional, myself included. We've been frustrated about the direction of the franchise and some of the decisions that have been made by Sean McDermott, and honestly, justified at times. But here's the truth that we cannot ignore today. And it's the truth that I'm not going to ignore today, because I just got to do it. Sean McDermott, after the win in Cleveland, now has 97 wins under his belt in his first 9 seasons as head coach of the Buffalo Bills. That happens to be the second most of any NFL head coach in history through their first 9 seasons as coach. Just think about that for a second. 97 wins by Sean McDermott in his first 9 seasons as head coach of the Bills. The second most of all time of any coach in the history of the National Football League in their 9 years, in their first 9 years. Sean McDermott's 97 wins is the second most of any of them. And guess what? He's our coach. He's our coach. And guess what else, Biz Mafia? And I know sometimes it's hard to swallow at times. I get it. But under his leadership, the Bills have now made 7 straight playoff appearances. That ain't luck. Okay? That ain't a fluke. And even though Josh Allen has contributed a whole lot to the success of the Buffalo Bills under Sean McDermott, we can't say that Josh is literally just carrying the entire franchise and carrying everything. He's a major part of it. But he's not the only thing. Because even Josh needs somebody to stabilize himself. Michael Jordan needed Phil Jackson. Tom Brady needed Bill Belichick. Patrick Mahomes needed Reed. Josh Allen needs Sean McDermott. And I know he's not perfect. None of these head coaches are perfect. And I'm not saying that Sean McDermott is of the echelon of some of those head coaches that I just mentioned. But I'm also not saying that he's not. Because the story for him is still not finished being written. It's not. So we can't act like in his story there's a period right now and the book is closed. We can't act like that because it's not. The writer of his story is still writing it. We don't know what it's going to look like at the end of this year or years to come for Sean McDermott and the Bills. We have no idea. That book is open. It's still being written. But what I am saying is this: as great as Josh Allen is, he needs somebody to stabilize himself and the franchise. And we have a guy in Sean McDermott who has done that for 7 consecutive seasons now, with 97 wins under his belt. Do you know what this is called? We've heard this before. This is sustained, structural, cultural, intentional success that Sean McDermott, and also to another degree, Brandon Beane, who, I have my own opinions about him, have built in Buffalo. And look, 2 things can be true, okay? 2 things can be true. You can believe that Sean McDermott has flaws, because he does, and he has plenty of them. You can also believe that he's made costly mistakes, because he has, and he likely will continue to make some mistakes. Hopefully not as costly as some of those in the past, but nobody's perfect. You can believe that you can believe that the Buffalo Bills may eventually need another voice leading them to get them over the hump, because they might, or they might not. We don't know. But you also have to acknowledge this, Bills Mafia, and this is what I've come to acknowledge: that Sean McDermott, in the midst of all of his detractors, myself included, has taken this franchise that was wandering in the wilderness, the bottom of the barrel, the butt of everybody's joke in the National Football League, the laughing stock of the NFL, and has turned this franchise around and put them on a pedestal, not at the pinnacle of the mountain, but the darn near at the top. Made them a perennial contender. What are you going to say about that? What are you going to do about that? He's built the culture. He's stabilized the chaos. He's developed talent. He's helped shape Josh Allen into the superstar that we know him to be right now. Not by himself, but he's played a major role in it, especially this version of Josh Allen, MVP version of Josh, who's, not running around and throwing his body all over the place, protecting himself from himself. And speaking of protecting himself from himself, how has he been able to do that? How has Sean McDermott protected Josh Allen from Josh Allen? By giving him a guy behind him in number 4. But we'll talk about that guy later. Okay? But Sean McDermott is the orchestrator of this symphony. He has done it. And we cannot judge a man's success by banners, by trophies. We can't do that. Only one guy gets a chance to do that. Only one team gets a chance to hang a banner and hoist a Lombardi trophy at the end of the year. 1 of 32. So because only one gets the chance to do it, does that mean that the rest, the other 31 are bad? Absolutely not. As a fan base, as a franchise, all you want is to be one of the 14. Just let me be one of them. Can I get in the number? Okay. Can I be one of the 14? In case you don't know what one of the 14 means, I'm talking about the 14 teams to make the playoffs. 14 teams in the NFL make the playoffs every year. 7 in each conference. Just got to be one of them. One of them. And don't you want to have as many opportunities as possible? Don't you want as many bites of the apple as possible? Don't you want as many at-bats as possible? Sean McDermott, like it or not, has now given this franchise, this team, 7 consecutive opportunities. That's sustained success, ladies and gentlemen. Sustained. That's historic. Historic. 7 straight playoff berths, 97 total wins in 9 years. I can't do nothing but tip my cap for that. That brother deserves a round of applause, man. He deserves my respect, and he deserves your respect as well.